Q&A. Hey guys, I'm 18 and I have got almost $30,000 Australian saved up and already have a car, 4-wheel drive. What's the safest way to utilize that instead of just getting interest from the bank? At 18, good question. At 18, you already saved up about $30,000. That is a kudos to you. At 18, I kind of wish I have that much money. So had I known what I know now, definitely I would have invested at least a certain portion of that. Number one, you should actually have some sort of saving emergency fund 3 to 6 months if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, then have 1 year of expenses. Hopefully that 1 year it will be less than $30,000. So have that as an emergency fund in case if anything happened. And then the next part of it, if you're still living at home, at least pay rent, help out mom and dad, because they raise you, they buy groceries for you, they provided a lot of your necessary stuff, let's say, in order for you to be able to live in their house. So that's number two. If you're living outside of home and you can still pay rent, and maybe if you have a mortgage or if you already bought a house, then good for you. That this might be a good emergency fund on one side, or maybe you're saving up for a house if you're thinking of that route. But if you're not thinking of that route, if you're looking at long term, let's say 5, 10 or 20 years time or so, what do you want to do with this money? And if you want to get better interest, then I would go pretty much invested on index fund. And from there you kind of learn, should I do the whole entire lump sum in one go? If you're a newbie, no, I wouldn't. I would go look at it and like, okay, what can I learn from this first? Okay, maybe dabble a little bit amount of I say your capital in there, so that way you kind of learn on how is it going to work, how is it going to work with you emotionally, and which type of index fund do you want to do. There are a lot of different platforms out there. For one, I would rather, if I would start it all over again, I would rather go to Vanguard index fund, but that's as a personal choice. That's my personal choice. Because I look at the performance overall compared to every single one of them, it's much better than any of the other platform, and using Vanguard as the platform. So it might be that you're probably leaning towards a different platform. By all means, do that. So at the very least is put some money on an index fund. Can you imagine that? If it's like, all right, then I love doing this maths, right? The compound interest calculator. Let's assume that you started at 30, but I'm only going to put half because I'm too scared on the market and I don't want to. I'm still learning. Let's say at $15,000 with an average of about 8% return over 20 years. Let's assume that you don't even put any money at all. There we go. So if you don't put, maybe I would just put down 100. Here we go. Alrighty. So now if I were to do this, let's say $15,000 in the beginning with, let's say, an index fund that can generate you based on the historical data, based on your research at roughly 8% per year, duration of 20 years. So that would fast forward now. So that's 18, 20, 38. At about 38. Where I'm at the moment, I'm on 40, so I'm probably going to have, maybe considering having kids, getting married, get a mortgage, or have a deposit on a house. If you just put in between 18 to like 38 at $100 per week or so, you will be getting roughly about $330,000. Now that would be enough for a deposit on a property if you're thinking to settle down and whatnot. So this is, I'm going to put a screenshot in here, so right there. At 15, that's at $15,000. Now if you're a little bit more riskier, let's say 20,000, and because you probably want to have an emergency fund of $10,000, and you keep on doing it, let's say 30 years instead of 20, and $100 per week. Again, So fast forward 30 years. So you're 18 at the moment, 18, 20, 30, 40, 30, 48 years old. At 48 years old, if you keep on adding $100 per week, every week for the next 30 years, fast forward, you'll be 38 years old. You would have $870,000. Gonna grab that screenshot and put it in here as an example. That's with an average return of about 8%. That's just being conservative. It's bound to be maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but that's on an average. It's much better than putting it in the bank. I do that calculator quite frequent, and just giving you an idea, like if somebody asked me that at a young age, or if I were to do it all over again, definitely index fund. So that's just my 2 cent phrase based on my own personal experience. Instead of trying to do any other things, that's just personal experience. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and I will see you on the next video.